What Happens When is a series where plant-based news takes a deep dive into the topics that concern our health and well-being and hear from experts who debunk some of the most common myths. It's destroying our planet. It causes cancer. It makes men more feminine. It causes hyperthyroidism. It's the leading cause of deforestation. It blocks nutrient absorption.
Soy is the worst thing on earth.
With inconclusive evidence regarding these clickbait statements, how did soy get such a bad rep? The soybean is one of the most versatile food sources. Edamame, soy milk, tofu, sprouts, miso, tempeh, soy sauce. Foods made of soy in both unfermented and fermented form have been the bedrock of Asian cuisine for millennia. Unfermented soy products such as tofu and soy milk are prevalent in countries like China, Singapore and Hong Kong, while in Japan about half of soy intake comes from the fermented foods natto and miso. But since its rise in popularity in Western cuisine over the past 60 years, soy and its effects on the body have become the object of many studies, myths, and debates. With so much crazy information about soy out there, let's break down some of the myths of what actually happens when you eat soy. The health effects of soy-based foods have been heavily studied for over 30 years, but one consistent myth remains: that soy products contain high levels of estrogen.
Soybeans have no negative effects on fertility, according to the best available evidence. A meta-analysis from 2020 looking at 41 clinical interventions showed that soybeans had no effect on testosterone, estrogen, or sex hormone binding globulin.
Soy contains natural compounds called isoflavones, which are a type of phytoestrogen and are similar in structure to estrogen. This raises the concern that the body might recognize these natural compounds as estrogen, which can promote breast cancer, hinder thyroid function, or even have feminizing effects on men. In reality, soy isoflavones actually have weaker effects than estrogen.
When it comes to soybeans and cancer, we can relax. Soybeans have actually been found to be beneficial to protect us from some of the most common cancers, including breast cancer, prostate cancer, and gastric cancers.
A leading meta-analysis of clinical studies points out that soy foods don't affect hormones negatively. In fact, the overall research suggests that the beneficial role of soy against cancer might be primarily attributed to soy isoflavones. Soy intake can reduce the risk of breast cancer in women. Research suggests that some of the other potential health benefits of soy include lowering blood pressure and blood sugar, improving fertility and bone health, and reducing menopause symptoms. Soy foods are rich in protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants.
Soybeans are absolutely fantastic for health. They contain all essential amino acids as well as phytonutrients and antioxidants. Many people don't know this, but isoflavones in soy actually have more antioxidants in them than vitamin C.
All plant foods contain all 9 essential amino acids that the body cannot make on its own and must be obtained from the diet. Studies have proven the health benefits of consuming soy products, especially when they replace red meat in a person's diet, highlighting the benefits of eating plant-based. But soy contains plastic, some still claim. This is no more than another outrageous myth made up to bring down some soy products. There is no evidence that soy contains plastic, and if you're really worried about consuming plastic through your food, then you need to look no further than the microplastics that end up in meat through animal feed. The benefits of soy as a source of protein and its cheap production cost also make it a popular option for livestock feed. This, however, is at the root of soy's massive environmental impact. Many claim that vegans are actually destroying the environment through consuming soy products.
There's an idea going around that soy is worse for the environment than meat. It couldn't be further from the truth. All the evidence shows, when looking at land use, deforestation, greenhouse gases, fresh water use, by far one of the best foods we could eat is soy-based foods.
Soy production has more than doubled over the last few decades, and according to some estimates, the global production of soy today is 13 times higher than what it was in the 1960s. However, only 6% of the worldwide soy grown is actually consumed by people.
More than 75% of all soy by mass globally is fed directly to farmed animals. And that only returns about a 10% back in calories from feed over to meat. So there's a huge amount of waste there. There's a huge amount of deforestation and land use.
As much as 75 to 80% of the soy grown is fed to farmed animals like chickens, cows, and pigs. People eating soy products isn't what is driving the current soy production. The demand for meat products is. The growth of commercial farms and the demand for meat in the 20th century has led directly to the explosive growth of soy in the mid-20th century. This is a threat to the environment in several ways. The growing demand has led to the increase in the arable land needed to grow soy. In places like North and South America, this has led to unsustainable conversion of forest and grasslands to farmland, which endangers wildlife and whole ecosystems. The more meat is consumed, the more land is needed to rear and feed these animals. Between the years 2000 and 2005, Brazil was one of the world's leading soy producers. It lost more than 50,000 square miles of rainforest, a large portion of that for soybean farming. Despite regulations limiting the harmful effects of soy on the environment, soy farming is a lucrative business that continues in many endangered areas. Another way in which the mass production of soy is harmful to the environment is the vast amount of water that is needed to keep up the high demand for soy growing. This in turn leads to a huge loss of water needed for local communities and ecosystems which rely on these water sources to survive. Any water that is left is unsafe to drink and is contaminated with pesticides. Soybean cultivation for farmed animals destroys habitats for wildlife, including and increasing greenhouse gases, which contribute to global warming. What is the solution? Just eat more soy. There is no direct link between consuming soy products as part of a plant-based diet and the destructive effects of growing soy. In fact, when soy is produced solely for human consumption as an alternative to meat, the demand for soy would actually be reduced. Clickbait headlines that proclaim soy products as destructive to people's health and the environment are ignoring the underlying cause of the problem, that meat is actually much worse. The humble soybean is fundamental to plant-based diets. It is an excellent source of protein, and its benefits by far outweigh the negative effects of meat. Soy has been around for millennia, and it is here to stay.